Return what isn't yours, Venus. My stepmother, Judith's voice sliced through the air like a dagger, echoing across the grand ballroom of the Westbrook Hotel. The crystal chandelier lights above seemed to flicker and dim, as if the room itself was holding its breath. Every face turned toward me, hundreds of eyes, sharp and accusing, pinning me in place. My heart slammed against my ribcage, a wild rhythm I couldn't control, and the champagne glass in my hand trembled, nearly slipping from my fingers. I stood there frozen, the weight of their stares crushing me. My name is Venus Carter. I'm 31, a pianist by heart, never meant to be a businesswoman. Yet there I was, at Judith's 55th birthday gala, accused of stealing my father's company, Carter Manufacturing, from my stepsister Pamela. That moment, it was raw, humiliating, and it changed everything. Let me take you back to how I got there. My father, Thomas Carter, was the kind of man legends are made of. He built Carter Manufacturing from nothing, just a tiny workshop in Houston, into a powerhouse that employed hundreds and shaped the city's economy. He was my hero, my safe harbor, especially after my mom died when I was 6. I still remember the first time he took me to the factory. I was maybe 10, wide-eyed and curious. He walked me through the rows of humming machines, their metal gleaming under fluorescent lights, and explained how each one worked. "This is what we do, Venus," he said, his voice warm with pride. "We make things that make people's lives better." Then he let me press the big red button to start one up. The roar of it filled the room, and I grinned so wide my cheeks hurt. Even then, I felt a spark, a connection to the business I didn't fully grasp. When I was 15, Dad married Judith. She came into our lives with her daughter, Pamela, who was 12 then. Judith was all about appearances, perfect hair, perfect smile, perfect socialite act. She played the supportive wife flawlessly while Dad was around, but there was always this edge to her, a coldness I couldn't shake. Pamela and I? We were oil and water. She loved parties, designer clothes, the spotlight. I loved my piano, the quiet of practice rooms, the way music let me disappear into myself. We coexisted, but we were never family. 3 years ago, everything shattered. Dad was diagnosed with cancer. I was 28, touring as a professional pianist, living my dream, playing sold-out venues across the country. But when he told me the news, I dropped it all. I came home to Houston, trading concert halls for hospital rooms. Those months with him were hard but precious. We'd sit by his bed, the beep of machines a constant backdrop, and talk. Not just about his illness, but about life, the company, his hopes. One day, he took my hand, his grip weak but steady, and said, "Venus, you have a mind for business that Pamela doesn't. She's smart, but she doesn't care about Carter Manufacturing. You do. I've seen how you analyze things, how you understand what makes them work." His eyes, cloudy with pain, still held that fierce trust. "I'm leaving the company to you. Promise me you'll take care of it." I squeezed his hand back, tears blurring my vision, and promised. A year ago, he passed. When the will was read, it was clear. Carter Manufacturing was mine. Judith and Pamela sat there, faces blank, nodding like they accepted it. But within weeks, the cracks showed. Judith started with subtle digs. At dinners, she'd say things like, "It's just so surprising Thomas didn't split it evenly." Pamela would smirk and change the subject. Then it got worse. Judith contested the will in court 3 times. Each time, she claimed Dad wasn't in his right mind, that I'd manipulated him. 3 judges disagreed, but she didn't stop. She turned to whispers. Rumors spread among Houston's elite. Venus barely visited him. She only showed up when he got sick. It hurt because, yes, I'd been touring, but I'd flown home every chance I got. The guilt was already there, gnawing at me. Her words just twisted the knife. Taking over the company was like stepping into a storm I wasn't ready for. I walked into that first board meeting at 30, a pianist with no business degree, facing a room of gray-haired executives who looked at me like I was a kid playing dress-up. A musician running a manufacturing company? I could hear it in their silence. I felt it too. Every ounce of their doubt mirrored my own. But I'd made a promise, so I dug in. I spent nights hunched over financial reports, my eyes burning from the glow of my laptop. I took online management courses, juggling lessons on supply chains with boardroom briefings. I shadowed department heads, peppering them with questions until they started to see me as more than just Thomas Carter's daughter. There were wins, small at first, then bigger. When we lost the Anderson contract, a huge client, layoffs loomed like a dark cloud. I couldn't let that happen. Not to the people Dad had cared about. So I stayed up for days, crunching numbers, renegotiating with suppliers, cutting costs in places no one else had thought to look. Then I pitched a new client, a risky move, and landed them just in time. We saved every job. The employees noticed. One day, Maria from the assembly line stopped me in the hall, her hands rough from years of work, and said, "Your dad would be proud, Venus. You fought for us." That meant more than any profit margin. But Judith's campaign never let up. At charity events, she'd glide through the crowd, dropping hints. Venus only took an interest when Thomas was dying. Pamela would scoff if I mentioned the company, saying, "God, Venus, it's so boring. How do you stand it?" I kept my head down, focusing on results. I grew the company by 22% that first year, expanded markets, added jobs. Still, the rumors festered. People I'd worked with, clients I'd won over, started looking at me sideways. Then came the gala. Judith's invitation arrived a week earlier, elegant calligraphy on thick cardstock. "Join us to celebrate my 55th, it read. I hesitated. Things had been tense for months, but I thought, maybe this is her reaching out. Maybe we can move forward. I put on a navy dress, simple but sharp, and walked into the Westbrook Hotel ballroom with hope flickering in my chest. The place was stunning. Gold-trimmed tables, a string quartet playing softly, chandeliers casting a warm glow over Houston's business elite. I mingled, shook hands, even laughed a little. For an hour, I thought I'd misjudged her. Then Judith took the stage. "Return what isn't yours, Venus!" she shouted, her voice venomous. "You stole my daughter's birthright!" The room froze. She stalked toward me, heels clicking, as whispers spread like wildfire. "Your father built that business for his children, and you manipulated him when he was sick." I tried to speak. "That's not what happened. Dad's will was clear, but she cut me off. Not his piano-playing charity case who barely visited." The words hit like a slap. Tears stung my eyes. I'd lived with that guilt, but hearing it screamed in public was a different kind of pain. Pamela stood behind her, smirking, nodding like she'd rehearsed it. The crowd turned. "She's right," someone muttered. I always thought it was odd how she swooped in at the end. Another voice. "A thief shouldn't be here." Someone booed. Within minutes, it was a wave of hostility. Judith stepped closer, her voice calm now, victorious. "I think you should leave. Nobody wants you here." My legs shook as I walked out, their stares burning into my back. But as I pushed through the doors, one thought cut through the haze. I would not let this stand. In my car, I broke. Sobs tore through me, my hands gripping the steering wheel so tight my knuckles turned white. The humiliation was a living thing, clawing at me. These weren't strangers. They were people I'd fought to impress, whose respect I'd earned. And Judith had ripped it away in one calculated move. I could have given up right there, let her have it all. But then my phone buzzed, a text from Bernard Wesley, Dad's attorney. "Just heard what happened. Are you okay? Call me." I called, my voice a mess. "They all believe her, Bernard. Everyone thinks I'm a thief." He didn't hesitate. "This is unacceptable. Judith knows your father was of sound mind. We have video proof. Everything. She's lost in court 3 times already." I sniffled, confused. "What can we do now?" He paused, then asked, "Do you have your laptop?" "In my trunk," I said. "Good. Meet me at my office in 30 minutes. If she wants this public, we'll give them the whole damn story. Every document, every truth your father left to protect you." Something shifted in me, a spark, faint but growing. "I'll be there in 20. I started the car, the engine's hum steadying me. Bernard's office was a beacon in the dark, lights glowing in the downtown high-rise. He buzzed me in, and there he was, gray hair, sharp suit, surrounded by stacks of binders. "I've been preparing this since Thomas passed," he said, gesturing to the files. He knew Judith might pull something. He was always 3 steps ahead. I paced as he explained. "She's after control," he said. "If she can't win legally, she'll make you a pariah so you'll quit." "She's winning," I muttered. "Not for long." He handed me a USB drive. "Your father's video testimony, 3 months before he died, explaining why he chose you. He had me record it to stop exactly this." I held it, memories flooding back. Dad, frail but fierce, recording that day. I'd been too raw to watch it since. "There's more," Bernard said. "Financials showing your 22% growth, employee letters about the layoffs you stopped, minutes where you offered Pamela a director role. She turned it down, said it was boring paperwork." My mind raced. "Bernard, your printer's still fast?" He grinned. "Plenty of ink, plenty of binders." For an hour, we worked, printing court rulings, financial charts, testimonials, organizing them into binders for every gala table. Bernard called 3 attorney friends who met us with nods of support. "This isn't just about tonight," he said as we loaded his SUV. "It's about ending her game for good." I checked the time, 10 p.m. The gala was still alive. Dad always said, I told Bernard, when someone attacks in business, you don't just defend, you bury them with proof. He smiled. He'd be proud. "Let's go." The drive back was quiet, my nerves buzzing. The binders in the back seat felt like armor. At the hotel, the valet stared as we unloaded. Me, Bernard, 3 suited attorneys like a legal strike team. The doorman who'd seen me flee now gaped as we marched in. My heart pounded as we reached the ballroom doors. Inside, it was business as usual. Glasses clinking, laughter floating, the quartet's waltz drifting through the air. Then I stepped in. Silence rippled outward, heads turning, conversations dying. Judith stood by the cake, triumphant, until she saw me. Her smile vanished. Pamela clutched her arm, whispering. Bernard's voice boomed. "Ladies and gentlemen, excuse the interruption. I'm Bernard Wesley, Thomas Carter's counsel and estate executor. There's been a misunderstanding about Carter Manufacturing that needs clearing up." The music stopped. Every eye locked on us. The attorneys handed out binders as I took the stage, microphone shaking in my hand. 2 hours ago, I was accused of stealing my father's company. I was called a thief, a manipulator, booed out of this room. I scanned the crowd. Some looked away, ashamed. Others frowned, flipping open the binders. My stepmother, Judith, planned that. What she didn't tell you is she's challenged Dad's will 3 times in court and lost every time. Bernard projected the rulings on a screen behind me. His wishes were clear, legal binding. Judith lunged forward, but the attorneys blocked her. "Before I say more," I said, "hear from my father." Bernard plugged in the USB. Dad's face filled the screen. Gaunt, eyes sharp, sitting in his study. Gasps echoed. Some hadn't seen how sick he'd gotten. "I'm Thomas Carter," he began, voice rough but steady. "This is March 15th, last year, with my attorney Bernard Wesley and Dr. Catherine Wilson certifying my competence." The camera showed them, then back to him. "I'm leaving Carter Manufacturing to my daughter Venus," he said. "She's shown the acumen and passion it needs. She's learned the business, taken courses, strategized with me, clips played, me with him at the factory, reviewing plans, moments I didn't know were filmed. Pamela's had chances to join but declined. She said she has no interest in making boring parts. There she was, on video, rolling her eyes at a dinner, rejecting a job in his office. I love both my daughters," he finished, "but a business needs someone who loves it. Venus does. I trust her with my legacy." The screen faded. Silence. Guests poured over binders, faces shifting. Shock, regret. "Since taking over," I said, "we've grown 22%. Expanded markets, added jobs, avoided layoffs." Bernard showed the charts. Page 12. Employee letters supporting me. Page 15. Pamela's job offer she rejected. The last section, court rulings proving Dad's choice. I stepped off the stage, facing Judith. "You told me to return what isn't mine. But Carter Manufacturing is mine. By Dad's will, by my work." I turned to the room. "You were misled tonight. I don't blame you. Just read the truth." The air changed. Hostility gone, replaced by unease. Gregory Thompson, our biggest client, stood. "Venus, I'm sorry. I should have questioned it." Applause started, slow, then grew. Judith stormed over, Pamela behind her. "How dare you ruin my party?" she hissed. "You've got no class." I smiled. "Funny, considering you used it to call me a thief." Pamela snapped. "You manipulated him." Bernard held up his tablet. "Venus visited him 83 times in his last 6 months. You, Pamela?" 12. Judith? 37. They faltered. "The company was our future," Judith spat. "You're taken care of," I said. "Dad set up trusts. He just didn't trust you with his work." She grabbed Pamela and stormed out. "This isn't over," she yelled. "It is," Bernard called. "Next move's harassment. We'll counter." The room relaxed. Guests approached. Apologies, praise. Edward Winters, Dad's old CFO, took my hand. "Thomas was right. You've got his spine." Tears came, but they were light now. "Thanks, Edward." 6 months later, everything's different. That night changed me. I walked in broken, walked out the CEO. Carter Manufacturing's soaring. New deals, more jobs, a second site in Austin. After the gala, Gregory doubled his order. Old clients came back. We are a model of grit and ethics now. Pamela shocked me. 2 weeks later, she showed up. "I need a job," she said, fidgeting. Mom burned her savings on lawyers. I saw no trick, just need. "Why me?" "You're the only one winning," she admitted. "I gave her a marketing gig." She's good at it, surprisingly. Once, she jammed the copier, cursed, and I fixed it. We laughed, a tiny bridge. "Judith?" "She's in Phoenix, chasing a new mark." "Good riddance. Me? I've changed too." Music was my world, my escape through loss, family mess, touring grind. I thought stepping away was temporary, but leading this company's woken something up. The thrill of solving crises, building something lasting. I play piano less, late nights mostly, but it's deeper now, personal. Last month, I started the Thomas Carter Foundation, music for kids, mentorship for entrepreneurs. At the launch, I played Dad's favorite Chopin nocturne in the factory, machines around me, staff watching. I felt him there. Inheritance isn't just money, it's carrying his best forward, adding mine. The crowd that booed me now cheers. Pamela's finding her place. I've found mine, artist and leader, woven together. Dad was right, some legacies you earn. Hey, if this story hit you, resilience, truth, all that, please smash that like button. Share it with someone who'd get it. Subscribe for more like this, and drop a comment. What did you think? Your own stories? Your support keeps this going. Thanks for being here.